3rd, 2026. It's 9 o'clock a.m. The minutes reflect that we have a quorum with the full court, all members are present. Before we begin, we're going to have our prayer for Elder Brown from the Wilson County Seventh-day Adventist, and then we'll have our pledges. Elder?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the privilege of being here. Thank you for bringing each one of us here safely. For your watch over us and bringing us. Then we want to thank you and praise you for all that you've done. Guide and direct proceedings here. We ask for your Holy Spirit to be there. Be with each one. Your guiding hand will be on the decisions. And we thank you for bringing those that are ill here. Bring us up. Bring us up another day that we can serve you. We ask again that you provide the rain we must most need. I want to thank you and praise you for it in Jesus' name.
Amen.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Move to agenda item number 3, public comments. So we have courtroom that allow 5 minutes until the third all together. So that's the counter or timer. Thank you. We're going to have on the backside. I'll let you know when you're getting close to 5 minutes.
Can they turn the volume up?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, everybody, please, because we have really 4 systems now. A new one's coming in next month. All right, our first person to come up to the podium is Rochelle Ratcliffe. Yeah, please identify yourself. Thank you. Tom.
So we're looking at bringing some data centers, cryptocurrency mining to Wilson County. I'm an engineer and I'm a rancher and I've been here for 30 years. And I want to know what studies you guys have done. These things use 1 million gallons of water every other day. And I don't care who's told you they don't, and I don't care who's told you that it can be recycled. It cannot. I build power plants for a living. I have built a lot of water recirculation. The water gets basically an antifreeze put in it, and then when they have to dump the water out, it's no longer any good. So now we have to have an injection well that may impact our water system yet again. Have you guys looked at that?
Ma'am, I forgot to tell you some other rules. If we don't respond to public comments, that's part of the rules.
Oh, fine, then I'll just keep asking them, and then maybe sometime you guys will respond. Also, they submitted an economic study in the package that they submitted. And I can't find where you guys have done your fiduciary responsibility and had anyone evaluate that economic study. Because having financed and done large-scale, hundreds of million-dollar projects, I can tell you that what is submitted may not be what is actually true. So We need an economic study done on whatever they submit. So how many data centers are you guys planning? And what gave you the authority to actually agree to this without asking the people of this county about it? This is going to impact every rancher and every farmer and every person in this county. And you guys actually think you have the authority to agree to this without coming for a vote or a question? The Stockdale School District wanted a solar farm. I highly oppose that. I've built solar farms before. They cause lots of environmental problems. But the Stockdale School District wanted it and said, oh, it'll solve all of our problems. Why is there a bond issuance for the Stockdale School District on this voting cycle if it solved all their economic problems? The people of this county deserve better, gentlemen. We deserve to live like we came to this county, quietly, and farmers and ranchers and family people. We do not deserve to become the industrial backside of Texas because we don't have the fortitude to stand up and say, no, no, not in this county. And as the person who led us in prayer said, we don't have enough water. I'm not using any of my irrigation wells at my ranch because I don't think that the water table can take it. Where are you going to get the water for this? It's not here. It's not in the aquifer. It's going to impact every person who either has a house or ranches. And last, the electrical usage. Those solar farms are not going to support the electrical usage of these data centers. It's not going to happen. And so they're going to come to our electrical grid, which is already overtaxed because the population growth in Wilson County has been fairly astronomical. So what, are we going to be like Maine, where the data centers said that they're going to bring their own electrical unless they can't, and then they were willing to pay 2,000 times more for electricity than what it was costing the people? And people are now paying approximately $1,900 a month in Maine for electricity. Did you guys research any of this? Did you go to Wyoming where they built the first data center? Meta built the first data center 28 years ago in Wyoming. Why do I know that? Because I was hired to come and build a standalone propane-powered Warwickzilla power plant for a small town because the data center took all of the electricity available. Did any of you Google data center before you got involved in this? That's my time.
Thank you, Ms. Frank. Ms. Lori Dawn, Missouri? Missouri? Okay.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
They have to shout.
No,
It's not working?
the light's not on it. I don't know what happened.
Lori Dawn, just everybody not let her speak up so that we can hear her. Go ahead.
All right. Commissioners, Judge, thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Lori Dawn Missouri. I'm a resident of Wilson County, and I stand here with many others who care deeply about our water, our land, our air, and our small town way of life. I understand this item is not on the agenda today, and I'm not requesting action at this time. We have circulated a petition requesting the adoption of specific guardrails regarding large-scale industrial energy and data infrastructure developments in Wilson County. In just 4.5 days, we have received 1,421 online submissions. As of today, I looked and there were 1,500 online submissions. After removing duplicate entries and filtering to verify Wilson County core zip codes, there were 1,385 verified Wilson County residents and landowners remaining. In addition, we are collecting handwritten signatures. We are continuing to collect signatures, and the totals provided today reflect verified online submissions as of Sunday afternoon. I am formally submitting this petition and respectfully requesting that it be placed on a future agenda so that the court may consider the proposed guardrails outlined within it. We understand that growth is coming. We're not against growth. We actually want businesses to come to Wilson County and to stop there. We are asking that it be evaluated thoroughly before irreversible decisions are made. The proposed large-scale industrial developments, including data centers and utility-scale energy projects, carry significant long-term implications for our aquifer, our air quality, our infrastructure, emergency services, and fiscal stability. Water usage, grid demand, road impact, fire response capacity, and long-term environmental considerations deserve careful public review. This is not about creating conflict. It is about asking careful questions before long-term decisions are made. We respectfully ask this court to ensure full transparency, comprehensive independent water, air, and land impact analysis conducted and made publicly available, clear coordination with emergency services, and that the long-term interests of Wilson County residents remain the priority here. I am submitting copies of the petition so each of you may review the specific guardrails being requested by your constituents. We just want to make sure we get this right. This is going to be here for 80 years, this one data center. There are others coming in or trying to. Wilson County is worth protecting, and the people in this room demonstrate that. Thank you. Do I have these petitions? Do I hand them to somebody or?
Bring it on over.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone, you know, we have that 30-minute limit. We're probably gonna go beyond that. You have 5 minutes. We have a lot more people that sign up more than 30 minutes. We're not gonna stop that. If you could please don't go to 10 minutes. Try to keep it within that 5 minutes. We really appreciate it. Okay? Ms. Segovia, Debbie Segovia?
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. My name is Debbie Segovia. I live in the northern part of Wilson County. We've lived out here since 2003, but we're property owners since 1999. I am talking to you today about item number 8, which I understand is being introduced later, about amending the tax abatement policy that Wilson County uses. I would ask that before considering approving a tax abatement, special consideration should be given to local resources affected by the company that is asking for the tax abatement, and for the consideration should be given for long-term jobs versus short-term. In the case of the data center that's being proposed, those jobs that were promised by the company, those are short-term jobs. Those are construction jobs, and when construction's done, maybe a handful of people, local people, will be employed by the company. It doesn't take very many people to run a data center. I also want to acknowledge that Wilson County Commissioners Court can't say yay or nay to a business. Your hands are tied as far as zoning, because counties don't have any zoning authority. However, there are tools in your toolbox that you can use to make it a little harder for companies like this to just come in and what essentially assaults the land, because that's what's going to happen. Perspective on this. We built our home here more than 23 years ago. we started paying full taxes on our property from the get-go. But we employed 2 people over those years, 23 years. One to maintain our acreage, the other to help clean house because we both commuted to San Antonio. We didn't get a tax abatement. Businesses should not get 10-year tax abatements. It is not fair to the citizens. You're losing tax revenue by doing that, and the promises that they make don't amount to anything as far as jobs go. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Ms. Amber Reed?
Good morning, I'm Tambria Reed, and thank you, elected Wilson County officials, for allowing me to voice my concerns. Like I said, I'm Tambria Reed, a resident of Wilson County, property owner and county advocate. I'm a retired Texas public school educator of 42 years, of which 32 years were spent here teaching in Wilson County. Many of the people that are up there were my former students, or are my former students. I volunteer on many Wilson County nonprofit organizations and or boards. I was a member of the Wilson County Water Action Project, and we fought to fight the Cibolo Creek Reservoir, which we won. Wilson County Beautification Association, Wilson County Historical Society, Wilson County Junior Historian Club sponsor. I serve as a Wilson County Historic Commissioner, and I'm with the Sutherland Springs Community Association Incorporated and the Sutherland Springs Historical Museum. In fact, when I was born, my mother took me to the little stucco house right after I was born on 13th Street in Old Town Sutherland Springs, which it still stands. And even though I've moved back and forth, I have been here permanently as a resident and landowner since 1987. Like Lori said, I'm not here today to get answers today, but just to voice my concerns, and hopefully they will be addressed later, at a later date. The people of Wilson County deserve to know our county government, Evergreen Underground Water District, state, federal, governmental agencies will help protect our water, soil, air, and community infrastructure from pollution, so our residents will continue to enjoy night skies without the interruption of industrial light pollution, hear the creatures of the night without the hum of giant generators, industrial generators, and benefit from the clean and safe environment of our rural lifestyle. And yes, I understand we're kind of sub-rural now. My specific questions are, how many acre-feet of water will the Moho Data Center and Solar Complex use daily and annually? What is the plan to safely dispose of the contaminated data center wastewater? Has Moho registered their existing ag water wells with the Evergreen Underground Water District as industrial? And how will this data center benefit our county? Growth is inevitable. We all want to see growth, but we all want it to be managed responsibly. I'm here advocating for our rural lifestyle. In Wilson County, as I have walked along the Cibolo Creek and hunted and fished in the creek, gardened along the creek banks, and embraced the local history, I want that same for future generations. So please help us make responsible decisions and guidelines for this company that's coming in. Thank you.
Susan Chrissy?
Right here, Judge. I guess the first row gets the, I'm sorry. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. County Judge, Commissioners, I'm Susan Flores Chrissy. I'm here today just to make a quick comment. This is just the beginning. What you plan for the room of people coming is a drop in the bucket. What you will see in the future, every time this data center comes on the agenda, you're gonna see a tsunami. Please plan differently. Please listen more distinctly and diligently than you ever have. Thank you.
Thank you. Monica Flores.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners, and all others that are present to help us through this particular morning. I am Monica Flores. I am from Floresville, longtime resident. I will not tell you how long. However, it counts. I want to first thank you all again for just hearing all of us. I'm sure there's a lot more to be said, but we have had significant things that have already been told to you, and I want to say ditto. I am a very long time resident. I am a landowner and a rancher and many other things, and have been involved in city and county issues that have been around. I too have been with Cambria and many others that fought that Cibolo Reservoir issue with San Antonio, many other projects that have gone on. And it's just about protecting our county and those surrounding us. I am a real believer in taking care of this land, this wonderful city, wonderful county that we live in. We've worked hard for it and we want to maintain that. So I would just ask of you to really give it a lot of thought. I'm concerned about water resources, the things that have already been mentioned, about the noise issue, about the reclamation of water and clean water. My ranch, I am every day praying over it because of the drought and just hoping that ends will meet and my well doesn't go out. So we are already facing that issue, and I'm not the only one. Anybody that is in this area is suffering from that drought. The abatement, concerned about also that we're seemingly too quick to say, please come in. I too want economic growth, but I want it safe, clean, and beneficial to many of us, if not all of us. So please consider those kinds of things that come along. I pay taxes every year, and every year it seems like I have more and more restrictions on my property, and I would love an abatement on mine. So just consider and be very careful about that in the future with many of these businesses that are coming in. And I hope that you will continue to do your research, as I know you've started on it, and I'm just asking you to extend that and do anything you can to help us on this situation. I would truly appreciate it, and thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you. Not sure I can read the last name. It's Lena Selby, is that right?
Is your name right? He wants to know.
Yes. You did it right.
Hi, Judge Whitman and the commissioners. My name is Lena Selby. I am a recent resident of 15 years. There we go. To Wilson County. My husband and I recently purchased about 40 acres out in Sutherland Springs and Stockdale, and yes, the road divides us. So we're in both places. I came today just to talk about this. We own a pecan orchard, and I am hard pressed to figure out how, when SS Water, I don't think they go by Sutherland Springs, do they? SS Water called during the last freeze and said, don't drip. And then I find out they can take up to 1.7 billion gallons. Who's going to regulate that over the year? Do my pecan trees stand a chance? I just have questions about that. We also raise goats. So where's the water going to come from for that? So as you can see, my main concern is water. But I'm also concerned about the air quality. I haven't seen anything put out. I have heard that the data center emits formaldehyde. I don't know if that's true or not. I would really like for you guys to look into that, because a person with an autoimmune disease doesn't do well on formaldehyde. So my concern is the water and the air quality, and making sure that we have water to drink and water for the animals and water for my trees. And beyond that, I thank you for your time, and I'd just like for you to look at this seriously. And before you make decisions, have all the answers, because we all know how companies are. Companies make promises that they don't keep. So, thank you so much, and that's all I have to say.
Jeffrey, Jerry?
First, I'd like to thank our elected officials for letting us speak today.
What was your last name, sir?
Legier. Legere, Legier. Thank you. I know our power here is limited in what we can control that goes on with this data center build. But if you notice on what I've handed you, first 3 pages are some of the things that other locations have found problems with as far as fire problems with their battery storage systems. But there's an alternative that they have not considered. Sand batteries. What this is you pump heat into giant banks of sand, and you have pipes running through this sand. And these piles of sand, or tanks of sand, can reach up to 1200 degrees Fahrenheit. That heat can be used to produce steam to run turbines. There's no chance of fire. There are no chemicals involved. It's simply steam. And after that steam runs through a turbine, it recondenses, you run it back through the system, you heat it, turn it back into steam. It's a closed cycle. It gets rid of most of the pollution issues that you would face in any system. And it's much cheaper to build out. It should save money in their bill, which means they can use that money to put in more solar to produce an excess of energy that can be fed into the grid. It's a better solution than these other systems that they're looking at. The lithium batteries, all the fire risks, the chemicals, you get one fire going, all that goes into the air. They start trying to put that out, it ends up in the water table. This is not something we want to see. So you've got a solution there that gets rid of all those hazards. It's a pile of sand with metal pipes running through it. And that is your energy storage system. That's it. It is a much simpler system that essentially lasts forever. No replacements. And that's all I want to say. You have a better, non-polluting system. That's all the time I'm going to take.
Sarah Wilson?
Good morning. My name is Sarah Barbosa. I live here in Floresville. I've only been here since 2022. And in fact, I can guarantee that some of you have not only been in my property, but in my house. I purchased my home from Howard Berger. He has been a longtime resident here. He was an attorney. We turned this property into a sustainable, regenerative, organic farm. We have an orchard, we grow crops, we raise livestock. I teach through UIW. I have received NCAT awards and USDA grants. What I am here to say is, please listen. This room will remember your name. This is your legacy. This is our legacy, our children's legacy. I fight every day to educate children who are in high school. And I have 20 years, despite how old I look, I have 20 years working in conservation. And when I tell you this will destroy our lands, our water, and our air, I assure you this is not being dramatic. This is the reality of it. And what you are asking, if this passes, is us to idly stand by while you sign our death certificates. This is unacceptable. And for us, these people, I mean, look at these faces, please. I mean, I'm not trying to be, but folks, remember these names on these placards. If this passes, remember the names. Because when our farms go out, and that data center is still standing, we go, whose data? Whose water? I mean, what town will we have left? The future of our town lays in your hands, and the foundation lays in ours. So please listen. Thank you.
Zachary Platt.
Morning. My name is Zachary Platt, regenerative rancher and farmer right here in our community. For years I've worked the land using practices that build soil health, increase biodiversity, and capture every drop of the rain the Almighty Father sends. Because water is life. It nourishes the roots that hold our earth together, feeds the grasses that sustain our cattle, and cycles through the air and soil, and streams that support all creation. In regenerative ranching, we steward the land, not strip it. We rotate animals to mimic nature's rhythms, cover the soil to boost infiltration, and regenerate what we've been given. That's how we kept our lands productive through droughts and floods. But the proposed Moho Ranch project takes without giving back, and that's not the renewable future they advertise. This is extraction dressed as ecology, a corporate raid on our resources disguised as land regeneration. Here are the facts. This project will pull 1 to 2 million gallons of water every day from our Carrizo-Wilcox aquifer for data cooling. That's 730 million gallons a year, straight from the ground that sustain our farms and ranches. The Texas Water Development Board's groundwater availability model shows the aquifer has already drawn down 50 to 200 feet in wells across the county since the 1980s from pumping for agriculture and industry. Local recharge is just 0.5 to 2 inches per year, nowhere near enough to replace what they'll take. The regional sustainable yield hovers at 50,000 to 100,000 acre feet annually. But this single site's demand will exceed local replenishment, creating a drawdown cone that hits wells and streams within 1 to 3 miles. Water sustains life, and its extraction threatens the whole ecology. USGS studies on Gulf Coast aquifers document how heavy pumping compacts clays, causing subsidence up to 1 to 2 feet of land sinking over time, cracking our roads and farm infrastructure. It pulls in salt water from deeper layers, raising the TDS levels above EPA standards, and contaminating drinking water as it does in stressed coastal areas. Naturally occurring arsenic and nitrates from our soils will mobilize into the water table, harming the microbes and plants that regenerate healthy land. Base flow to Cibolo Creek and the Guadalupe River already contributes from this aquifer. Depletion means drier streams, fewer fish, and less resilient ecosystems for our wildlife and livestock. These effects snowball. Drier streams mean eroded riverbanks and invasive species takeover, as seen in USGS report on Texas coast aquifers, where 20 to 30% base flow loss has halved fish populations and double soil erosion rates. Lost habitat scatters pollinators, cutting crop yields by 10 to 20% on neighboring farms, per USDA data, forcing more land fallow and higher food prices for us all. We regenerative folks know ecology matters. Our practices focus on increasing organic matter. Increasing by just 1% equates to holding 25,000 more gallons of water per acre annually. Building resilience, not breaking it. The Moho project clears 2,700 acres of native grassland, disrupts habitats, and runs 24/7 with noise and lights that scatter birds and pollinators. It's not stewardship, it's a takeover, turning shared water into private coolant while our ranchers deepen wells at $10,000 to $50,000 a pop and lose crops to shortages. Economically, Wilson County lives by agriculture. Our families are our heritage. This project doesn't build us up, it burdens us with dry land and higher costs, all for developers' profit. This is the Texas aquifer crisis unfolding on our doorstep. The TWDB projects 10 to 20% recharge drops from by 2050 from climate shifts and urban sprawl. Wilson County isn't isolated. Overpumping here feeds the same monster that dried Beeville wells and starved Central Texas farms, turning fertile land into dust bowls. We can't regenerate a dying land. This project locks us into decline, trading our heritage for fleeting tech profits while the real stewards, our soil and waters, pay the price. Council, protect our water as the life it is. Enforce a full independent aquifer study impact through the GCD to quantify these risks. Mandate reclaimed wastewater or air cooling systems, no aquifer tapping permitted. Support local incentives for true renewables, like small-scale solar, on farms that boost soil health without extraction. Empower the community with transparent permitting and rebates for well upgrades. If these safeguards fail, deny the permits outright to honor our God-given role as stewards. Together we can regenerate Wilson County for generations. Thanks.
Mr. Kyle Ferguson.
I think these fine people have already covered everything I wanted to say, but I stand with them completely. Thank you.
And we stand with you.
Joseph Burton.
Water, water, everywhere, water near and far. Let's use our hands and feet to count how many kinds there are. Great vast oceans, tiny tears, soft clouds ripe with rain. Bubbles blowing, bursting pop, a wondrous wet refrain. Waterfalls with misty breath whisper as they flow. Frozen water turns to ice and flakes form out of snow. Sun-kissed meadows sparkle bright with early morning dew. There's even water in your bath splashing over you. That's a children's book published by a company called Baby Einstein. And what I can tell you is a county that had 2 burn bans covering about half the year and are currently in a burn ban might be lacking in water. A lack of rain leads to a lack of water. There's a strong correlation there. And it doesn't take Einstein's mind to understand that a data center that gobbles water and electricity to keep its servers full should be built in South Texas. Operationally, it's a disaster from the get-go. Unless, of course, it has a helping hand of power from our state government that allows it. Considering that most of us here do what we can every day to make sure that sustainability is a thing. We pride ourselves on sustainability, the ability to survive and not take more than what we need. It's very difficult to see these large companies with deep pockets come in and push us around. A few years ago, there was an article published that discussed a Bitcoin mining company near Waco that essentially used our legal system, the laws that have been created by man, to use against us. They pre-purchase electricity at a discounted rate, and then when there's a surge, when there are lots of people relying on it to survive, they can sell it back at a profit. Obviously, if that can be commodified, then water can be next. That being said, we are asking you to talk to your people in power. You have connections. We know you have connections. We want you to talk to those people that can make the decision and stop this, because we don't want to have to turn into water restrictions. We don't have to rely on water restrictions. We want to be able to survive, because these companies, they work off the bottom line. And the bottom line tells you that profits can't be made with a system like this that gobbles up the water that it needs. Unless, of course, there's a way to get around paying for it all. And what we ask for you is to remember, when you talk to the people in power, we ask you to remember that we want the world's bottom line to be considered life. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming. We appreciate it. We take these comments seriously, and I say my door is always open. If you want to come talk to me, I have an open door policy, and these commissioners, if they're your commissioners, please talk to them. You don't have to come to Commissioners Court. Make an appointment to come see them, please.
Respectfully, sir, I would just like to let you know that one of the reasons I got up here later.
Come on up here, ma'am. I mean, you're being televised, so I want to know who you are.
There are so many people that wanted to come to this meeting, but it was held at 9 o'clock in the morning, and most of the people in this area either ranch, they farm, they're dropping feed. This is what you look like when you're trying to get somewhere at 9 o'clock and you're feeding your cows and dairy goats and, you know, you're attending your own animals in your own farm, your ranch, whatever everyone has. I am new to this area. It'll be 4 years in July. We saved for 10 years to be able to buy a 25-acre ranch in Stockdale. That needs a lot of work. We're doing great. The thought of not being able to have water for my cows to drink water is frightening. And then I think about my neighbors who have been cattlemen for generations. And they are the most wonderful people. And they do things on kind of a mix of regenerative. They're wonderful people. They need more water. This will affect everyone, including the poorest Medicaid recipient child in our public schools. They have to have water. What will we do without that? And I think that as these areas grow, growth is great if it's responsible growth. Nobody comes from a different area wanting to invest and build their lives and hand things down to generations to move to an area that looks like a wasteland that has no water. You will not attract positive growth. You will attract negative growth. I just really ask y'all to please think about this very, very long and hard. It affects every single person. And again, there are so many people that have been in the hall and that wanted to come. I request that a meeting be held where you can, at a different time, where it's not 9 o'clock in the morning on a Monday morning, and maybe somewhere where we can have parking availability, just so you can see how many people are willing to take time out of their days, and everyone's busy. You know, so I just request that y'all consider that, making it open at a different time so that you can really see how many people are willing to come in during their busy schedules and just show their support for protecting our water in the area.
Ma'am, I'm going to get you to step over here and fill out a form because you were a lengthy presenter here, so we want to make sure we capture your name there. Okay, for the record, thank you. I'll allow you a couple minutes. Come on.
This will be quick. Could you all tell us, you've heard our concerns. Can you tell us what you think you can do for us? to
There
address
are
this?
voices.
Everything you, okay, I'm gonna break rules here a minute. I'm gonna respond, I'm not supposed to. Everything you said, we've all asked. We don't know either. We have a lot of questions, man. I'm just telling you, we have a lot of questions ourselves. Nothing has been brokered or dealt with any company that comes. They just bought this land and they're showing up, and we listened to them at one point. That's all we've ever done. We haven't done anything. It's not even the very beginning of the process yet. The permit's been drawn, there's nobody gone to our development company, nothing. None of these people have done anything yet. We have not done anything.
On their plan, they're already having it now.
There's nothing, hold on. There's nothing at our permit officer going to, they've just bought this land. We have the same questions you have. We wanna know.
We'll find out.
Right.
That's
Well, we
your
are.
job, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Can I make one suggestion?
I know, hold on, Commissioner. We're gonna limit it to this, and we have to go on, we have a lot of agenda items. Come on to the podium, man.
Obviously, this isn't going to help any person in this county financially, nothing, because you're taking, land off of the tax rolls. So our taxes are going to have to keep going up. So I make a suggestion that we impose a data tax on these people. Tax every byte of data that comes in, tax every byte of data that goes out, make the data tax so high that none of these will want to come here after this if we can't stop this.
That's well taken, hold on, it's well taken, but our water is the biggest issue, and I'm concerned about that.
Well,
I'm very concerned.
I am, but if we can't stop the one that is 2 years in, if we set a data tax so high that it makes it uncomfortable for the other ones, maybe we can.
We'll take that into advisement. And thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much for showing up. We appreciate it. Thank you. You're welcome to stay and watch the rest of the court. It's boring. Let's move to agenda item number 5. We have Yvonne No?
Sorry.
Agenda item number 5, and I'm taking it to Yvonne Wilson. Not here, we'll have another person next time, right?
All right, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
If you will go ahead, and this is in regards to the TxDOT San Antonio District presentation of 2027-2030 Rural Transportation Improvement Program, the rural TIP. I serve, you'll identify yourself, you have the floor.
Okay. My name is Clayton Rooks. I'm a deputy district engineer for TxDOT for the San Antonio District. I know it has Yvonne listed, but Yvonne is here, Jill Rosen. She's the doer. She's the one that puts this all together and coordinates all these meetings for us. So I just want to thank y'all for the opportunity this morning. This is something that we do every 2 years, come out to the areas, kind of get feedback, present kind of the proposed projects within the county or the city. And as I hand over to Jeb, the area engineer, to kind of walk through the presentation on the process. A lot of this is getting feedback as well on what projects are needed, if there's anything that we're missing, kind of for the next 4 years. These projects that are listed in the first 4 years are all funded, so they have real money, real dollars that are coming out there. So with that, I just want to touch real quickly on the folks that are here. Coach already met Yvonne. Rickendola Cruz is our Director of Transportation and Planning Development. He's the guy with the money, the plans, oversees kind of the development, design of all the projects. And then we have Matt Cardozo, he's in our advanced planning office, the big picture projects. And then Brian Witherall, he's our environmentalist, but he's also a Wilson County resident. So he's here with some other vested interests as well. And with that, if you have not met Jeff Smith, he is our area engineer for Wilson County, and he'll walk through the presentation. But again, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You took Mr. Locke's place, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today on Rural TIP. There is a presentation, I don't know whose slide this is on. Okay. They just let me know it'll work. Yes, sir. Thank you. And y'all have a copy, hard copy of everything that I have. Yes, sir, Jeff, GD.
Yeah.
Good morning, all. All right, is that better? Good morning, all. We are here today to go over the projects to be included in the upcoming 2027 to 2030 Rural Transportation Improvement Program, which I'll refer to as the Rural TIP from here on out in Wilson County. We have the agenda on the presentation up above us. As Clayton mentioned, we're from the San Antonio district, which covers 12 counties, all the roads under our district's care. We will also review the basics of what is the rural TIP and why it's important for you to be with us here today. I will explain how the projects are selected and go over the funding, answer questions on where does the money to pay for these projects come from. And then finally, we have the opportunity to review the projects for Wilson County that the San Antonio district has included in the 2027 to 2030 program, and will outline all the options you have to comment on these projects and their priorities. This is a text-up presentation, so obviously we start off with the safety unit. You may have seen our new safety campaign either on television or in radio ads. It's the Drive Like a Texan campaign, kind, courteous, and safe. Drive Like a Texan is all about saving lives. It's a reminder for everyone in Texas to treat each other with a little bit of kindness, respect, and neighborly spirit that we're famous for in the state, especially on the road. By showing courtesy and care behind the wheel the same way that you would in person, we can make our roads safer for everybody driving on or bicycling. Kindness is just as simple as treating others the way we want to be treated. Say thanks by giving somebody a small wave when you merge over the traffic, or a friendly nod. Courtesy isn't just about being polite in person. It's also about showing respect for letting others merge in when you're driving, giving plenty of space, and then practicing patience on the roads. All actions here save lives. And then finally, safety. The most important part of any journey is arriving safely. Not only do you keep yourself safe, but you also protect every driver, passenger, biker, pedestrian sharing. Moving on, next slide. This is a map of the San Antonio district and the counties which we covered. San Antonio district covers all the counties shown in the map within the dashed blue line. Not all these counties are part of the rural TIP. Coming Guadalupe and Barrett County, and half of Kendall shown here in light green are considered urban counties and are part of the Alamo Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, also known as AMPO. The light green and hatched light green is the proposed AMPO boundary. The counties shown here in dark green are rural counties that are part of the Alamo Regional Rural Planning Organization, known as ARPA. The rural TIP for Gillespie County will be developed by TxDOT's Austin District, while Karnes County will be developed by TxDOT's Corpus Christi District. Although Uvalde County, shown here in gray, is not part of ARPA, it is part of the San Antonio District, and therefore it will be included in the rural TIP. So let's talk about the rural TIP. The Rural Transportation Improvement Program is a list of local projects to be funded in the TxDOT district over the next 4 years. This means that all projects included in the list are expected to be underway within 4 years following its approval. These are projects you can expect to go into contract in the near future. It's multimodal, which means that it can include projects relating to highways, bicycle and pedestrian facilities, transit services, and freight projects, as well as the preliminary studies used to define those projects. The rural TIP is meant to show regional agreement on the need and priority of the transportation project, so all parties involved can be sure that they are making the best investment for the community. It is It is also expected to be consistent with the projects and objectives included in regional long-range transportation plans to ensure that all agencies are working towards the same goal. The Rural TIP is part of the statewide transportation improvement program, also known as the STIP. And because the program's rules are established by federal law, no project can receive federal funding unless it is included in the Rural TIP. It is important for you to participate because funding is secured by this process and is intended to address your community's most immediate needs. This is how the Rural TIP impacts you here in Wilson County. By providing comments on the priority projects included, you are helping us to identify regional priorities. By reviewing the entire program in a single meeting, you are having regional impact, helping us to be more effective with your money, taxpayers' money, and ensuring that we are investing where we should for our transportation infrastructure. So how are projects selected for the rural TIP? Rural transportation organizations, metropolitan planning organizations, and local governments are responsible for selecting projects within their boundaries. TxDOT, through the district office, which for us is in San Antonio, is responsible for selecting all projects relating to the state transportation system and other national roadways. This includes interstates, state and U.S. highways, but most importantly, this can also include farm to market, ranch to market roads we use every day. The projects you will review today should address local needs. It is our responsibility to provide you with the opportunity to provide input on which projects should be advanced. So we'll talk about funding, which is Mr. Dela Cruz's specialty over there in the corner. The rural TIP functions as a budget list for the district. Therefore, it is fiscally constrained. Like the budget of a household, the rural TIP has to be realistic about the amount of money available to cover all the needs that are included on it. Frequently, we identify more improvements than we have money to implement. This means prioritizing accounting to those items that are most necessary. We've discussed the list, or we will discuss the list, but where is the money coming from? Funds can come from multiple sources, including federal government through the Federal Highway and Transit Administration, the state through the TxDOT's Unified Transportation Program funding categories, and finally, local funding by providing matching funds for federal funds. So on the slide there, you see a diagram of where we are in the rural TIP process, which is community input. The timeline above illustrates the rural TIP process and where we are now. Once comments have been collected and considered, the San Antonio District can provide a revised rural TIP for approval and integration into the statewide document. The statewide transportation improvement program, again called STIP, is an accumulation of all 25 districts' rural TIPs and 24 metropolitan planning organizations' TIPs, and it includes additional statewide programs, for example, the Texas Park and Wildlife Program, federal land, tribal projects, statewide infrastructure, statewide transit, etc. The timeline above shows where the rural TIP process fits into this larger effort. Once the STIP is approved by the federal government, everyone's projects are considered approved. The San Antonio District is holding virtual public meetings for the 2027 to 2030 rural TIP. You can visit TxDOT's public hearing webpage and look for your county under area to review all projects included in the 2027 to 2030 rural TIP. There's a QR code on the slide there included in the presentation. You can view PDFs of project lists and maps under public meeting materials or by clicking the interactive map. You can zoom in, click on projects to learn more, or add and drop pins to make comments about mobility and connectivity, maintenance and safety, and bicycle and pedestrian and transit projects in the interactive map. So next steps. Now that you're familiar with the program, we would like to hear what you think. We would like your input. Please fill out a comment card and mail it back to us at the address that's on the screen. That'll take that comment card to the district office. Or you can also email comments into Yolanda Rosa. Back there in the corner, her email address is on that slide as well. You can also make comments on the interactive map. Comments must be postmarked or otherwise received by April 10th, 2026. Please make sure to send your comments before that date so that they can be included in the plan. If after today you would like more information or have any questions, please feel free to reach out or visit the district webpage for updates. Please remember, you can share the video and materials of this presentation if you wish to discuss this information with friends and family. Just remind them, please, comments by April 10th, 2026. Now, we'll get into Wilson County projects that are toward the tip. They're also included in your handouts, Judge and Commissioners. Go to the next slide, please. All right. So the first two projects that are included in fiscal year 2027 for the rural tip in Wilson County. First one probably is of the most interest. That is our expansion of US 87 from the Barry Wilson County line F in 1346 of Vernon, which we will widen from 4-lane undivided configuration US 87 existing to a 4-lane divided roadway. Right now, the total estimated project cost is just under $70 million, and currently the let date is September 2026. So that should be in construction about a 3-month delay potentially by end of 2026. The second project, and this is map ID number 2, so map ID is for the interactive map. The second project is on FM 541 from US 181 in Marcellinus Creek, and that will be sill coat pavement markings over its favor. That has a let date of October 2026, and an estimated project cost of about $104,000. And if you go to the next slide, please, which I'm sure everyone can see, so I will read through these locations. These are all sill coat pavement marking projects that are scheduled to let in fiscal year 2028, October 2027 specifically. These are sill coats on segment 321 from US 87 East to US 87 West. Another sill coat from Business 87 from US 87 East to US 87 West. Sill coat on FM 1681 from State Highway 123 to County Road 448. Sill coat on FM 1681 from County Road 448 to the Wilson County line. Sill coat on State Highway 97 from 0.4 of a mile north of Blue Bonnet Drive to US 87. Sill coat on SH 123 from FM 541 to the Wilson Karnes County line. Sill coat on SH 123 from Business 87 to FM 541. Sill coat FM 1347 from SH 123 to SH 119. Sill coat on FM 536 from Atascosa to Wilson County line to FM 2579. Sill coat on FM 1347 from SH 119 to FM 538. Another sill coat on FM 1347 from FM 541 to SH 123. Sill coat on FM 1303 from FM 2579 to FM 536. And then finally, sill coat from FM 1347 from FM 538 to US 87. And then there's also a map. I probably should have put the next slide, but there is a map here that shows all these projects mapped out in here. Go to the next slide, please. One last thing to touch on is our Transportation Alternatives Program, the TA program. TxDOT approximately every 2 years opens applications for the Transportation Alternatives Program. This program reimburses local governments for minor pedestrian plans and projects. The Safe Routes to School program, which was a program to build sidewalks in schools that may have heard of in the past, is now part of the TA program. The TA program can also fund bike and pedestrian network plans for local cities. This could then help with having a document to apply for future bike and pedestrian projects. There is a 20% local match included in this program. The next application call may possibly be in winter of 2027, something to keep in mind. Please follow TxDOT's TA program to stay updated. And one thing to highlight, in 2021, the city of Floresville was awarded the hike and bike trail and the El Camino Real Trail. That was completed, and that was part of the 2021 TA project. With that, thank you for your time. Louis, presentation.
Do you want to catch bringing through cars?
I do have some, yes, sir. Sure, if you have any other questions.
Not necessarily a question. I know that Commissioner Perdola and I have both approached Mr. Lockett in reference to the ongoing construction on Highway 123.
Yes, sir.
Precinct 4, is constantly either on social media or directly contacting me about when's it gonna get done, why has it been done in stages, and I tried to explain the process, and of course, the contractors work. Somebody's good at dirt, somebody's good at blading, somebody's good at watering, and so it gets stretched out that way because you're trying to keep the contractors busy all the time. But, I challenged Mr. Lockett, I go, you know, you live in the New Braunfels area, and he goes, yes. I go, okay. When you come to visit the Floresville office, you probably come the back roads down and cut across. He goes, yes. I go, okay. The next time, leave at the same time, but come down Highway 46 in Guadalupe County and drive 123 to Stockdale and then go over to Floresville that way. And at the end of your day, don't leave early. Leave at the same time you normally would and take the same path, and you tell me if you're satisfied. Because it not only cuts off Wilson County, but all the counties that are south of us. Whenever we're trying to go shop, trying to get to medical appointments, trying to take and use those regions for services that we can't get locally, it's a big hindrance. Also, turning into Longhorn Ranches, we would very much like for the project to have a dedicated turn lane for safety's sake, because it is an issue, and I mean, anybody who's been doing EMS and fire or policing in this county has worked accidents there. And now that Mr. Lockett is retired and you're on point, we'd love to visit with you.
I mean, Mr. Lockett was actually looking into that when he retired. It didn't go.
I have to take a look and see where it was when he retired. I'll be happy to reach out with him.
County Road 435.
435.
Many accidents there.
I'll be happy to look into it.
Thank you for coming here.
Thank you, sir, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Item number 6, and, can't say that language. Discuss and take action requesting the use of the courthouse on March 18th, 2026, 9 a.m.
Austin's walking over. Anyways,
Including time for setup and breakdown. How did you put out there last week?
Yes, so I am working in Radial in the IDD program, which stands for the Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Department. And I am the community educator. And so we are wanting to celebrate IDD Awareness Month next month here at the courthouse lawn. This event will identify Awareness Month, and we would like to bring together multiple agencies in that service y'all's area. So ACOG, we will also be having the food bank coming out and having a distribution. This will be an additional distribution for this one day event. They will have several other agencies that service this, so this will be like a resource there on top of the celebration. We'll have things such as like a cakewalk, some light music if y'all are in session on that day. We'll have waters for the community that comes out. We'll have fun in general in of course of the event. In front of you, you have a flyer of our department and what we do. And then in front, you also have the flyer that lists of all the locations that we're going to be having the event. Your site will be one of 5. So you will be, on the 18th, you'll be event number 3 on the list. And the second flyer is what the flyer would look like for your event. And if you do grant us the permission, I would also put your seal on the other opposite corner. And we're also asking if if Judge or one of the commissioners would do a proclamation for us on this day.
Okay, so you submitted a proclamation packet form in here.
Yes.
But it's not on our agenda to be read.
Um,
So you wanted us to do it at the next court on the 8th or 9th?
It was written in on the same,
Okay.
Since the event is the 18th, it can be done for the next meeting. And
Yeah.
do a proclamation of the event.
So for it to be proper, I'll go ahead and make a note and put this on for the next agenda.
okay,
And then if you would come, please, somebody read this and then we'll put it together. We have plenty of time, I put it down.
which date would that be?
March 9th. Yeah, because it's kind of vague in your request, you said we're requesting for a proclamation of this event, but doesn't say you want the court to do the proclamation.
Oh,
So I'll submit the form for you.
thank you.
Yeah. All right. Okay, Commissioner, do you have any other questions for her before I call for a vote?
We didn't have a motion.
I haven't even called for it. I'm calling for it now.
I'll make a motion to approve the use of the courthouse on March 18th, 2026, from 9 a.m. to 1, including time for setup and breakdown. You know, the Alpha Community Services, IDE emergency.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Curdola. Any other questions regarding agenda item number 6? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Thank you, ma'am. And I'll have that ready. Will you be here? Will you come to the next court?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 7, Kayla Prado, 3rd Assistant County Auditor Grants, discuss and take action on amended resolution to update designees for Operation Lone Star OLS 4385204, Violent Crimes Against Women Act, EAWA 3015410 for the 2025-2026 grant period.
We're just meeting with Brenda as the authorized official. That's it.
And
We're at review and
okay, all right.
the all the grants will require that
They require a name and be a position.
position. Well, for the office of governor requires the name, the title and the name. For the other grants, we're trying to keep it just the title, so that we don't.
It's pretty straightforward. I'll entertain a motion for agenda item number 7.
Make a motion that we amend the resolution and update the designees for Operation Lone Star, OLS 4385204, and Violent Crimes Against Women Act, VAWA 3015410, for the 2025-2026 grant period to reflect the names of Judge Hank Whitman, Wilson County Judge, and Kayla Prado, 3rd Assistant County Auditor.
Motion made by Commissioner Aiken, second by Commissioner Keen. Do I have any other discussion regarding this agenda item? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Thank you. Agenda item number 8, we have Gary Martin, Commissioner Precinct 1, discuss take action on setting a public hearing regarding changes to the Wilson County tax abatement policy on March 9th, 2026 at 10 o'clock a.m.
Yeah, so, we have been approached by another solar provider, and since our, policy expired, I believe it's in May, it may cross paths, I want to do this ahead of time. There was a couple of things that we learned from Commissioner Aiken had a project, and so I'm working with, Ms. Huron to finalize those changes. We'll have that available later this week, and so it'll be ready to be posted. So I'd like to make a motion to set a public hearing to discuss the changes to the Wilson County tax abatement policy on March 9th, 2026 at 10 a.m.
Second. Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Cardova. Is there any other discussion regarding agenda item number 8? Here none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. All those against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Agenda item number 9, Luz Salaco, Permitting and Development Director, 9A, non-standard plats variances, the 9A1, County Road 342, 1474, Precinct 3, Davenport, discuss and take action.
Yes, good morning. Mr. Davenport was in attendance at a review committee. He proposes to split the 1 acre that his home is currently on to make permanent residence on the adjacent property on the back. So they proposed this 1 acre split of their current property. This was given a favorable recommendation by our review committee, and they did show availability for their utilities.
And it's not in a platted subdivision.
And it's not in a platted subdivision.
I'll make a motion that we accept the non-standard plat variance for County Road 342, address 1474. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cardova, seconded by Commissioner Aiken. Is there any other discussion regarding 9A1? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Abstain. Motion passes. Agenda item number 9B, subdivision Pioneer Ridge, 9B2, review and approve final plat, discuss and take action.
So this was reviewed by our review committee twice. It's been passed on to Commissioners Court for another review, just because it's pending either approval with conditions, or disapproval. The engineer is here to speak on its behalf if you have any questions. We did have a couple of questions concerning the drainage of one of their drainage systems close to the county road. Our engineers are here as well. I believe they have some issues with it. Mr. Casey, would you like to speak?
Do we have the plat?
Yes. Mr. We passed out the
Bring
plat.
that here so we can see it.
I am Doug DeCicchio, I'm with KCI, County Engineers. Generally, we don't disagree with the drainage design of this project. They provided some additional outlet design to flow the runoff down as it's leaving the site. All the calculations work out. The only thing in question on our end is because of the road and some of the concerns, discharging into the road. We have some downstream impact analysis concerns where typically when you go, you follow the runoff a little further downstream to make sure you're not affecting anything else. And there's supposed to be a culvert further down the road. They had talked about regrading the channel to help with some of the runoff from crossing that road. So I think that's really what we're looking for. We want to make sure that that culvert won't be affected, and if some of the rock is crossing over the road,
To be clear, you're talking about the road within the project and not County Road 342?
no, we're talking about County Road 342.
You're talking about 342, okay.
That's where there's a detention pond that's outletting right at the road there. There's, again, they provided some additional drainage features like a level spreader, which slows down the runoff as it's leaving the site. And they are reducing flows. Generally, you look at the existing conditions, whatever the flow is, slow it down or, release at an equal rate. But because of the road there, we're trying to prevent runoff from crossing the road. It already was in the existing condition. They did provide some calculations showing that they're not making the situation worse, but if they are redirecting the runoff towards that downstream culvert, we just want to make sure that that culvert is going to be able to accept the flows. There's also a couple of driveways, I think, that it'll have to pass to get to that culvert, so it's going to affect what's crossing those driveways. We want to make sure about that before we are ready to approve it, I think, or recommend approval on our end.
So what's your recommendation to the court?
Initially, we were thinking we could conditionally approve it, but I think given this downstream impact analysis, we just need to be sure before we can recommend approval. But again, generally, they are reducing flows, which would typically mean, okay, you're not going to affect anything downstream, but because it's being redirected downstream of that, it's now no longer just crossing the road like it was, because we're trying to prevent the runoff from crossing the road. I think in most low water crossings across the county, we're trying to prevent those low water crossings from existing now, right? So by diverting it to not cross the road, it could potentially create other issues. So that's what we want to be sure about.
Mr. Perdola, comment?
Well, we're trying to make sure that the water coming out of this detention pond and sewer subdivision does not come straight out of the pond and wash across the county road and create more problems for the county. I'm asking that they make sure that the water comes off of that property and goes in the garbage as it should and down to the nearest culvert across under the culvert. And we're just asking to make sure that it's got to go under a couple of driveways before it gets to the culvert under the county road, that all of that works as it should.
And they are upgrading the channel downstream of the detention pond. So where they're outletting, they're already reducing flows. They're redirecting all of that new flow through a new channel. But because of that, it's no longer crossing the road like it was, and it could cause other issues, in particular with those driveways. And I'm sure the culvert's probably okay to accept flows, but that's just something else we have to be sure about.
Frank Jester, your county engineer. The biggest concern is during construction and after, I guess, when you think about it too. We want to make sure that things are constructed per the plans. We want stuff on the plans first of all. That addresses what our concerns are, so we don't have a downstream impact. The second thing is we want to make sure we have vegetation established. That's been a big issue, I think, through all the commissions, all the precincts. So we want to make sure that it is established and not just weeds.
So, right, are those things stipulations we're gonna tell the developer, or how do we, it sounds like we want to, what's on the agenda is to approve this, but there's conditions, is that correct?
We have expressed these requests to the engineer of record. We haven't talked to the developer. We've talked to the engineer of record.
I think these issues need to be addressed before I would will vote to approve.
Okay, that's what I'm hearing, so we should not take any action on this until we resolve it, right?
We do have here.
Okay, come on.
So originally, I'm Mason with Intrepid. So originally with our design, we didn't have any improvements to the channel downstream. We just had the detention pond going into the county right-of-way. And then at the Development Review Committee meeting, that's when the water going into the county right-of-way was brought up. And so we did the downstream improvements on the county road based on that. So originally, our design was to just keep the water flowing as is. Where the detention pond outflow is at the location where the pond outflow currently is. So it wouldn't be changing the location of the outflow, anything like that. It would be reducing the water flows. This was just a request that was made to us to bring the water basically down the county road right away instead of as it is existing.
Yeah, so just like we discussed in the development meeting as well as, before we make a motion, we definitely need these plans, because they're not here. But we definitely need these plans set in stone before, we go with whatever's next, because Doug, I'm glad you found me now. You're able to explain this. It's important to us, so we want to make sure flow's right, we want to make sure we're not tearing up county roads, we're already on a limited budget, so it's something we definitely need to capture.
So are we, you want to take no action until that's taken care of with your?
Yes. Okay. Well, the plat that we have that we're just now provided a copy of is not signed, and it also does not reflect the improvements that are on whatever's was provided to the court. So this plat is not executable today anyway, so.
I'll call for the vote and see how it goes. All right, commissioners, we do have to take action on 9B2.
I'll make a motion that we take no action until we get the plat improvements listed on the plat as we discussed.
Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt, but, because of our timeline, we either ask for a, denial, a conditional approval, or approval at this time. Just because of the timeline that we're falling in right now. So if we do, or you decide to deny it, it'll just be a matter of addressing the deficiencies and bringing it back, but the formal, the court's proceedings would either be one of those three actions.
All right, which one do you recommend?
It's really up to the commissioners. In my opinion, I would say a denial at this time until we address the deficiencies, and I can bring it back to the board.
I think that's the proper motion on the floor right now, correct? No.
That's not what
was
you're
it?
saying. That's not what I said.
Okay, go ahead.
Rescind
Rescind it.
my motion. And I will make a motion to deny the plat until proper corrections are made to the plat.
Motion made by Commissioner Curdo, second by Commissioner Kane. Any other discussion regarding 9B2?
I would like to ask one more thing. So, as Doug stated, that the drainage was, as was existing, would we have to go downstream and do the county road right-of-way improvements, or would it be with the level spreader, just leaving it as is, coming off site? Improvements to make sure the water gets to where it needs to be, not just throwing it out across the county road. If we show. Discussed in the past. So I just wanted clarification because of what Doug stated, I just wanted clarification on that. Make improvements downstream and make sure that the culverts will handle the water flow.
discussion, call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. We move to 9, discuss and take action on acceptance of performance bond of $802,050.
On the letter credit. Because of the previous denial on the plat, I asked that this be tabled to when we bring it back, this is what our entitlements, running.
What's your request again? I just want to table.
Table the acceptance of the letter of credit so that we can bring it back at the same time that we bring the plat back.
Table it, it's gotta come back in the next week. It's gotta come back in the next week.
Okay.
Give us, and I agree with Commissioner, give us some leeway there in case something happens and there's a glitch, so. Commissioners, with your agreement, we'll take no action on 9.3 unless there's. And item number 10, Carl Fowler, Fire Marshal progress. I don't see it. There's nothing to look at. Sorry, guys. Okay. Agenda item number 11, we have our Sheriff, Jim Stewart, Sheriff's Office progress report.
Okay, for the month of January, starting off the new year, we had a total of 1,479 calls, 505 of them reportable, 974 non-reportable calls. Had 59 livestock calls in the month of January, 47 animal complaints, 12 mental health calls, and 4 burn bans. Security checks, 55 for the month of January, patrol buys, 726. Traffic and code enforcement, 375 actions. Out of that, we wrote 54 citations, 14 misdemeanors, and no burn ban citations, 7 animal complaint citations, and no livestock citations. Had a total of 376 warnings, 1 misdemeanor warning, 1 livestock warning, 1 animal complaint warning. CID for the month of January, closed 14 cases, took 67 new cases, have a total of 82 pending right now as the end of January. January, we sent 1 to juvenile probation, 13 cases to the county attorney's office, and 30 to the district attorney's office. Had 16 cases pending further investigation, basically not enough information to investigate unless something comes up in the future. 8 of them were out of our jurisdiction, so they were transferred to where they needed to be. And we did 21 sex offender verifications in the month of January. CID, Criminal Interdiction Unit, OLS, month of January, 21 felony arrests, 8 misdemeanor arrests, 128 traffic stops, assisted patrol with 8 calls. Month of January, they had 3 days that were out of operations out of county in Jim Wells County, I believe in Alice. And they handed 8 undocumented illegal immigrants over to ICE and Border Patrol in the month of January. They recovered 142.48 grams of meth, 0.043 grams of ounces of marijuana, and 14.6 ounces of THC oil. For the jail and court, month of January, average daily housing is 115. They took in 93, which averages about 3 a day that they intake. We're currently housing 7 for the U.S. Marshal's Office for a total of $19,170. 3 for Gonzales County, total of $5,580. For the courts in January, they had handled 18 reportable calls, 41 non-reportable. They did 23 transports in county, 26 out of county transports. They did 1 mental health transport, and they made 6 arrests.
item number 12 is Don Love, Barnett County Tax Assessor Collector, County Tax Assessor Collector monthly report. I'm not gonna be here today. I'll give you a few minutes to look at that attachment. We're gonna move on to agenda item number 13, Ms. Christina Booth, County Treasurer, to discuss take action on the County Treasurer's financial.
Good morning. As you will see, there was not a report submitted due to other pressing items and deadlines to be met. I've worked on those. I can safely say, though, in the report that the checking accounts, other checking accounts have been reconciled. What I did not finish is due to time restraint, is checking all the funds, making sure all those numbers jive, everything like that. And I will not submit a report to y'all without doing that. So, like before, I will go ahead and put it on the agenda for March, the first Commissioners Court on March, to then report January of 2026. But again, there was other items to fulfill and finish, and I'm not gonna report without the whole report being finished 100%.
So since there's no financial report, we just,
There's nothing to approve, and we'll just say that, yeah, that report will be given the first Commissioners Court in March. Kind of like we did last month, a whole different situation, but I'm hoping that's the last of it, and I'll have more time, so,
okay. No action on that, we need a report.
thank you.
Agenda item number 14, we have Jalen Barber, Human Resource Specialist, presentation payroll and personnel change.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hasten Roy was hired as a corrections officer for the Sheriff's Department, making $22.68 per hour, or $49,543.12 annually, effective February 10th. Carlos Lehos resigned from his position as a part-time road hand for Precinct 2, effective February 11th. Courtney Aguilar was terminated from her position as a patrol deputy for the Sheriff's Department, effective February 10th. And Justin Lopez resigned from his position as a patrol deputy for the Sheriff's Department, effective February 9th.
Questions? Agenda item number 15, Christine Wallace, interim county auditor, discuss and take action on the bill.
Good morning. The bill total for this court is $2,428,842.51. We have two large ticket items on here. One of them is gonna be for the district court from Red for Wilson County's portion. That's under the county and district court department. That amount is $858,159.33. And then the other large ticket item on here is going to be the draw for the arena, which is under the ARPA fund, $1,400. And that is, first of all, glass, $1,189,496.32.
I noticed you split out
The Parada.
yeah, so
No, that's how they sent it to us in their budget. So it's just the DA's portion, and then there's the court coordinators, and then the help.
what are we gonna do about the Toshiba bill for emergency management?
So since it's coming out of line item 4370, that line item will be over budget at the end of the year with what is expended. So my recommendation would be we could do a budget amendment for the line item so that bottom total, budget wouldn't change, but I would have to get with Cindy and see if we can move another line item in her budget to make up that difference. They would have to go through commissioners court first.
Jason had been in contact with Sheila, and they were, there were
So-
indication they had no problem, they were just trying to figure out how they're gonna do the reimbursement.
That's not what she told us.
No, so Jason, Cindy, and Amanda, they all got with the Toshiba reps, and they are not willing to
Okay, all
uh,
right.
give us the credit for those 3 months for October through January.
But Mr. Ron,
Plus there's late charge.
Plus, there's gonna be late fees because the bills have not been paid.
we're committed to that already with that contract, correct?
As far as Toshiba's concerned, yes, because the contract was signed with them back in September or October, and then they reduced it beginning October, right? Or not, November?
No, it was reduced whenever we approved it in January.
Okay, and they are not willing to reimburse the reduced amount to the original contract, right? Well, there was an issue as to whether or not the original contract had been ratified by the court. I mean, the court can decide to just pay whatever needs to be done and make the adjustments as recommended, or say, well, the contract was never ratified by the court, pay what we owe, send it back, and then we're done with that, but, as far as Toshiba's concerned, they have a contract that I believe in the whole county.
Is it valid since it's not signed by an authorized person?
We can argue that it was not valid because it was not ratified. But we have been using it, so, we should at least pay for
that first 3 months.
the service.
They didn't even move it to the building until December. So for September and October and November, it's sat there unused without that.
However, the court wants to address this, and defining, I haven't been in touch with Toshiba at all, so our office needs to get involved to address that or discuss, because it is a long-term contract. It's more than a year, right? It's a 5-year lease.
I don't have the contract, I'm still waiting, I requested it from them, but with the transition, I'm assuming for the problems.
I'm certain it's 5 years. Yeah, it was 5 years, I can pretty sure it was 60-month contract. Yeah. Yeah, I think at this point, let's let Mr. Ron get in touch with him and
I will, I mean, the contract has to provide, because the court has to fund it every year for the next 5 years, and the contract, if the county says, well, we're not funding past this year, we have to be able to get out of the contract, we can't fund the county for the future years, so, I mean, if the court's considering getting out of it, if they don't give us a reimbursement, or I can get the situation from them back to the court, or however you want us to address this.
I hope you can be successful. Well, I mean,
To-
you know,
to-
the thing is,
rejection, is that what you
yes,
like?
yes. I mean, I get it, they're in business. You know, their late charges and all that other stuff, many people do it. People argue their late charges and they say, hey, this isn't what you told me to follow along with. We have a little bit of a contract. So, let's let the experts know, county attorney's office look at it, give us, see what kind of resolution you can want to see. That's my recommendation.
I'll entertain a motion, I'm sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
Could you check and see that the KCI agreement was split up properly? I thought I saw that there was precinct 2 and 3 and charges on there. I didn't see charges to precinct 1 and precinct 3.
kind of hard to understand it. I think they got split out.
Their billing is
409.
very hard to understand.
Yeah, I did go through the bill and I did verify and added up that all of the precincts match what she had entered.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to take action on the county bill.
I'll make a motion to approve all the bills except for the chief copier under the emergency management department. Plus the county attorney's office, we will try to negotiate for the good.
Need to get a bill out, don't we?
Well, we've talked about it before, but I don't know, if you wanted to do the math right quick.
It's about $300.
No, it's more than that, it's 1,500 or something.
So the bill amount, as of right now,
You talking about the total bill, Commissioner, or the
Total.
one for the first
Total.
bill? Okay.
It is $1,574, $1,500.74.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
It's either or. You had a motion, Ms.
Yeah, I have a motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Cordova.
All right, now I have a question for Mrs. Jerome. The first 3 months are in dispute, but the rest of the time period in the invoice is not.
Well, it could be in dispute because the time after was only an amendment to the original one to lower the monthly price. So the amendment was approved by the court, but it's really contingent on the original contract being approved or not. So if, depending on what I can find, who may be responsible for the lower price for the last couple of months or since the reduction, because that was actually approved by the court, but it's the amendment that was approved, not necessarily the original contract.
And did they agree to the amended price at any point?
They did, and the court did.
Okay, and so that's why my question is there, is that we owe the amended price for the time that is not in question, which is the first 3 months, in my mind, unless you tell me.
Yes, the only thing is that the original contract, that was not approved, so,
Okay.
the amendment is kind of putting the cart, it's kind of paying for the cart, but you're not paying for the horse yet.
And I'll yield to your guidance. The only thing is that obviously we brought this up in multiple courts and we've discussed it ad nauseum, in trying to get it worked out. And on the other side, you have a vendor that trusted Wilson County, and, you know, they're not gonna take and verify whether or not we did it in a manner that allows it to happen. And now that we've agreed to terms on it after the fact, I just wanna make sure that we're not gonna have this number keep mounting, because they're gonna go, we want our machine back and we're gonna file against it.
That's correct, and that is a concern, because they are not aware as to what was approved or what was not, they have a
Right.
signed contract, so I can get the details, come back to the court, but by the next meeting in March, there will probably be additional
More
fees
fees.
unless I can negotiate something else with them, but there will be fees. The court's decision is gonna be either we approve this contract, we fund the money, and we pay what we owe, back amount, everything, and keep going forward, or we just put a halt on it and we take whatever consequences are as a result of just canceling the contract altogether, which is returning the machine, paying for whatever they're doing after they paid, so. But I'll try to get as much information so the court can make a decision at the next meeting,
completed in March. I don't know why we've got to build, if they're building every 3 months, they should complete their service. I mean, isn't that our normal thing, is that the service is completed before we retain the resource?
It's a monthly, apparently it was here 15th to the 15th. So,
Approval by the 9th.
so probably, yes, by then that we do this, so that's fine.
Any other discussion? If not, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. We don't have that bottom one we put in the last one. We'll make sure that it's on the agenda next time. I entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion made by Commissioner King, seconded by Commissioner Gerdola. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yes, we are adjourned.
We don't need to sign this, but she's gonna have to
It
go
is
collect it.
10:51 a.m.
Sure, hold on, let me turn this off. Just a good.